wish that I could just wish away my feelings, but I can't.
Sand hurts my feelings.
I don't like sand,
Hurts my
sand.
feelings.
Haunted by fake sand in my very soul. Sand. Are you suffering as much as I am?
Sand
I
hurts
can't
my
breathe.
feelings.
Tormenting me. I'm in agony.
Sand hurts my feelings.
I don't like sand.
Hello, and welcome to The Sand Hurts My Feelings, a Star Wars podcast from a Swiftie point of view. I am your host, Sarah.
And I am your other host, Alex.
And today we're taking a look at Leia Organa's solo and Fearless, Taylor's version, and seeing what connections we can make between the two.
Yeah.
So to kick us off, we are going to take a little bit of a step back and talk about our experience with the album, but we've had the benefit or the pleasure, it's both, a benefit and a pleasure, of having both the original release and the Taylor's version release. So we're going to talk a little bit about our experiences with both of those. Does that sound good, Alex?
Sounds great.
All right, I'll kick us off. So Fearless, the original release, this is where my best friend in high school really tried to get me to be a Swiftie. She really, like, even today, like, Fearless is kind of like one of her top albums. And she's like, Sarah, you need to listen to the really good songs, like, you need to listen to her. And so I did. And I remember Love Story and Fearless and like hearing those. And I'm just like, it's too country. And my friend Ween, she's just like, but Sarah, it's so good. And I'm like, but it's too country. So we had that struggle. I don't know if I had heard other songs off the album aside from those two, but Love Story got a lot of play. And kind of a side related note, like the homecoming song for my senior year of high school was Crazier by Taylor Swift. And so I know that's not on Fearless, but it came out around that time as part of the Hannah Montana movie. And so, like, I heard that song. And I remember thinking, like, it's nice. I had never heard it before. It got played at, like, the pep rallies and at the dance. But honestly, that's not what I was focused on at homecoming. So that's kind of my experience with the original. And then again, I listened to it for the first time as the whole album once I met Alex, and I remember liking it better than the original Taylor Swift album.
Yes. This is the album that I jumped in wholeheartedly on my Swiftiness. This is the first album I bought from the store. I did not buy it day of. Didn't know the, again, 18-year-old, I think, around that time. And so trying to go to college and stuff like that, but was working through it, and I found it, loved it. It is a phenomenal album. I really enjoy it. It is not as loved for me as Ween. Like, it's still a really good album. Like, I don't have a ton of bad albums from her. I don't think there is one. You think Taylor Swift the debut is semi-bad. I don't, but I would say there's no weak album, I would say. So I just enjoy it. After I bought this album, this is when I was like, Piper, give me your album. Piper, give me your Taylor Swift album. I have to start collecting the CDs. So that was the other shift. And I do remember a frustration around this time. This is when it all started to become she only writes about her exes. Because White Horse came out and Love Story came out and these albums, and it became she's a very popular young artist, but she's only writing about her famous exes and writing about boys. And why does she only write about boys? So that... And I have been a staunch defender of Taylor her entire run, and it was a tough time. I was never an ashamed Swiftie, like I never was like said that I didn't like her to anybody, but I think at this time it wasn't like I'm not broadcasting it. But yeah, it was one of those situations, because again, it was also kind of at that time weird for a white male 18-year-old to be into this, to, like, as you say, country, and into like a young girl singing country. So, but what can I say? I'm a sensitive soul.
Right. And I mean, what great artist has the paparazzi and the media not done dirty, to be honest? So, moving on to a happier one. So, Fearless Taylor's version is one that came out, and we were together, we were dating. And so we got to experience this at the same time, which was very, very cool. So I'll share my kind of recollection of it, and then Alex can share his piece of it. So this one, we did not go at 7 a.m. to Target, because at the time we were working on helping my side of the family clean out my grandparents' estate. And it was a very difficult time with my grandparents in failing health and having to clean out, decades of memories and histories from their estate. And it was a hard morning and early into the afternoon doing that. And so I don't remember exactly what time we hit the road to head back home, but we were very intentional and stopped at Target on our way out of town and picked up Fearless Taylor's version. And we jammed to that all the way home. And it helped me turn my mood around. Because one, I was just like in awe of how, Taylor's aged, X number of years since she originally released the album, and how much she can manipulate her voice and still sound like that 18-year-old girl when she recorded it. And I thought that was incredible. And I also really loved watching Alex's reactions as he was jamming out on the way home in the car to it. So that's what I remember most about Taylor's version of Fearless.
Yeah, not a ton to add, because yeah, we had that experience together. But yeah, again, this was my formative Taylor album that I just fell absolutely in love with. There's just so many jams on it, and this is one of her first re-releases, and it was just back of like she's reclaiming her work, and because everything else, like the earlier versions had kind of, we are a Taylor Swift version household. The other versions kind of felt hurtful because of like just icky, I guess. Like, I know there's people who still love the original versions and everything, and I'm not yucking that, but just for us, it just felt, or at least for me, it felt kind of weird to be like, yep, I want to listen to these songs, but like she doesn't own them, and she doesn't want you to, she doesn't get anything from them. So, but yeah, no, I was just jamming out. You Belong With Me, You're Not Sorry is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. It's very basic. The biggest reason I can tell you why I loved it is because she was on CSI. and there's actually a CSI edit of You're Not Sorry, and I was a huge CSI fan at this time in my life, so no, it was great. And so then to hear that in a more modern version, but like, again, as you said, the way she manipulated her voice, like it sounded almost identical to what it was when she originally released it. So you're not losing anything by listening to the new versions.
No, I do have a question for you, if you'll humor me before we dive into our Fearless Leia connection. Do you have a favorite From the Vault song for Fearless?
Oh, I don't think I've listened to them enough, but I think probably the one that comes to me off the top of my head is Mr. Perfectly Fine.
Oh, hands down, that is my favorite from the Vault. It's a bop. It's great. It's sassy and puts him in his place, and I like it. I don't want to say like I wish it had been on the original, but like to me that was one of the songs that, as these are the first From the Vaults that we get. So it's like, they were on the cutting room floor when she was making the original album. I'm like, these are strong. Like, these are strong songs, and we're in for a treat if we continue to get the From the Vault tracks.
Yep, completely agree.
Alrighty, so let's shift and talk about our Leia connections with Fearless songs. And I have the pleasure of going first here. And neither Alex or I know what the other one picked. So here we go. I'm going to try not to cry. Mine's really sad. Alex is making a face at me when I say that. Yeah, it's really sad. So my pick for Leia for Fearless is Breathe. And as I was listening, so I was listening to the whole Fearless album, and Breathe is one of the later tracks on the album. And I was listening, I'm like, maybe this song could work for Leia, maybe that song could work for Leia. And as soon as I heard the song, I'm like, I have an exact moment. It has to be this one for me. And it gut wrenched me. So I picked Breathe because it's her love song to Alderaan. This is the song she's singing in her grief as they fly away from the wreckage. She's trying to go on without her people, her parents, and her culture. Like, I honestly, like, this is like the mantra. She's in her cell in the prison block after the destruction, and like, what else is she gonna think about? Like, that's her place of mourning. And then once she knows that and then once she escapes on the Falcon, and like, she knows she's gonna live on, like, to me that's just like another gut punch. Because it's one thing to be like, okay, my whole planet and my people are destroyed, but like, they're going to execute me. I'm going to be gone soon. And then to have Luke and Han and Chewie swoop in and rescue her, and she gets to continue her mission, which is really great. And I know that she is like excited for that and glad for that, but then like, now she has survivor's guilt. So go a little bit line by line here with me. I'm already getting verklempt. Oh my gosh. Whew. Okay, so I see your face in my mind as I drive away. She's flying away on the Falcon, because none of us thought it was going to end this way. It's the kind of ending you don't really want to see, because it's tragedy and it'll only bring you down. Now I don't know what to be without you around. And we know it's never simple, never easy, never a clean break. No one here to save me. You're the only thing I know like the back of my hand, and I can't breathe without you, but I have to. Alex is starting to get verklempt here too. Whew. Got a thought?
It's such a good pick. Again, you knock it out of the park in finding non-things, because my brain only connected it to a guy. And I'm like, there's no Leia guys, but like, nope, this absolutely works, and I love it. So fantastic. And yes, you're right, I am getting a little choked up. So go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, I was gonna say we still have more to the song. So yeah, you go through that chorus. I can't breathe without you, but I have to. And so like, that's her in the grieving process of like, everything I know is gone, but I have to keep moving on. Then the next verse is never wanted this, never want to see you hurt. Every little bump in the road I tried to swerve. I mean, she did everything she could, and the Empire still destroyed everything. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out. Nothing we say is going to save us from the fallout. Yeah. Just, yeah, the whole destruction of Alderaan. I mean, and then it's a little too on the nose. It's 2 a.m. feeling like I just lost a friend. She lost everybody. She lost everything. So now I honestly can't listen to this song the same way now that I've made this connection. Like, it's a sad song and it's a beautiful song before making this connection with Leia. But now all I can picture her is like sitting in that cell in the detention center, like grieving and like basically just focusing on her breath in, breath out of like, I have to put my next foot in front of the other and continue on without everything. And then like watching the rubble of her planet as she flies away safe on the Falcon. Just like, ugh. I really hope for the next album I can pick a happier song and a happier moment and not be so depressing with Leia. But Star Wars is tragedy.
Well, and like the thing I like about it is that like you actually give her grief. She can grieve, because she doesn't get no time in the movie to do that. She's immediately, console Luke Skywalker on losing Ben Kenobi, who he's literally known for 3 days at the most. And and she comes and consoles him of like, there's nothing you could have done. And she's lost everyone.
Right. That irked me right off the bat. And spoilers for Kenobi. Like, we know that Leia had this better connection with Obi-Wan in the first place. So she's like, never mind the fact that I just lost my entire planet. And this guy that, like, saved me in my formative years is now dead. I'm going to help you because you've known him like intimately for like 3 days. Because I mean, Luke knew of him on Tatooine growing up, but never like closely. So I'm just like, it's poor writing. Leia needed her moment of grief.
Yeah, and so this song absolutely gives her that moment. So well done.
Thank you. I'm very excited to hear what you've picked for Leia.
Mine's not as sad. Mine, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like, it's sort of sad. So my selection for Leia is change. So there's a lot of things that went on in this one. It can relate to both the sequel trilogy and the original trilogy, but I think I went mostly through the original trilogy. But I can basically just go through lines and seeing it how it relates to Leia becoming kind of the leader of the Rebel Alliance, and then again in the Resistance. So it goes, well, it's a sad picture. The final blow hits you. Somebody else gets what you wanted. And again, you know it's all the same. Another time and place. Repeating history. And you're getting sick of it. Okay, so that's Rebel Alliance and Resistance of getting sick of it. But I believe in whatever you do, and I'll do anything to see it through. So again, she's like, I'm going to fight through this. We're going to fight. We hate the tyranny, and we're going to fight through it. And she goes, so we've been outnumbered, raided, and now cornered. It's hard to fight when the fight ain't fair. We're getting stronger now. Find things they never found. So again, being small, rebel alliance, and resistance even. They might be bigger, but we're faster and never scared. You can walk away, say we don't need this, but there's something in your eyes says we can beat this. And that's Leia. Because, like, yeah, she's given the option. Like, she could easily walk away. Like, as a member of the Imperial Senate, she literally could just ignore everything and live a normal life. But she sees what's wrong and continues the fight.
Well, I can very much see that she has that option to walk away. You know, kind of to your point, this plays out both for her time in the rebellion in the original trilogy and then the resistance in the sequel trilogy. And, you know, you have that time of peace. You have the option to turn the other cheek as the First Order's rising, and she chooses to dive headfirst back into this fight again. That's a really great line.
Oh, and it gets better because then it works better in original trilogy when we get to our finale. Then it goes into the chorus, because these things will change. Can you feel it now? These walls they put up to hold us back will fall down. It's a revolution. The time will come for us to finally win, and we'll sing hallelujah. We'll sing hallelujah. Oh, oh. So, yeah, like, and they do. They win both times. It's a revolution both times. They're going against the tyranny, and she wins both times. So, again, to me, that's the more happier version of her life. Of that, like, yes, her life is tragedy, and especially in the second one, she isn't able to see it come to fruition. But she is part of that change. She is the cause of change in most of the Star Wars movies.
Right. She's a leader. We first get introduced to her, with her as a leader, and she continues that mantle the entire time we know her. And I really like that pick for Leia, too. So great job. Because Leia is that beacon of hope. And you hear the other characters talk about her of, like, she is that ray of hope. She is, you know, the one encouraging others. I mean, we just talked about how she's deep in her own grief and she's consoling Luke. And that is very much the singer's perspective here of, like, yeah, these times are really tough and we don't necessarily want to fight this fight because it's not fair. You know, the cards are against us, the deck is against us, but we have to keep believing, and there's going to be change, and we're going to win. And that is very much, I think, Leia's motto, Leia's mantra. So I really like that.
Thank you.
Oh, this is so much fun. So listeners, we'd love to hear what you think. Do you agree with Sarah? Do you agree with Alex? What song do you pick? And especially from Fearless Taylor's version, we have, was there like 26 songs total on the, there's a lot. There's a lot of songs on Fearless Taylor's version. So we'd love to hear what you think. So give us a shout out. We'll give you our socials here in a second, but we want to queue up our next episode. We're going to continue talking about Leia, and this time it's Speak Now, Taylor's version.
Yeah, so you can catch up with us and talk to us and send us your thoughts on Instagram and Threads. We are the Sand Hurts My Feelings pod. Then we have our email is the sandhurtsmyfeelingspod@gmail.com. And then we also have Facebook, which is facebook.com/the Sand Hurts My Feelings podcast. And we are going to start up actually on Instagram and Threads. If you want to communicate with us about what your song you think is, you can thread or Instagram hashtag the Speak Now Leia, the Sand Hurts My Feelings. And if you hashtag or thread that, we will see it. We will find that hashtag, and we can add you to the show if we want to talk about that. So it's going to be fun, and we hope to hear from you.
Until next time, listeners, may the Force be with you, forever and always.
May the force be with you.
Forever and always, yeah.